For my final environmental science paper, I researched wildfires. A wildfire is an unplanned or unwanted fire that is uncontrollable within an area of vegetation. Wildfires commonly occur in drier, forested climates, usually during a drought period. Wildfires mainly occur in the states of California, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Washington, Colorado, and Oregon. All of these western states commonly have high temperatures, droughts, and thunderstorms. By having these conditions, these locations have a very good conditions for wildfires. Although wildfires commonly occur in these states, wildfires do occur in most of the 50 states in the United States. They are just not as common or occur as often in other states as they do in the western states. There are many causes of wildfires, including human impacts, dryness, and high temperatures. Although wildfires can be very dangerous, they can also be beneficial to help rebuild and regrow the ecosystem. Wildfires can have many different results, some beneficial while others not, and it's important to understand the result of a wildfire. It's important people understand how wildfires begin and how they are controlled and or stopped, why wildfires are both beneficial and harmful, as well as the results of wildfires, and how wildfires can be prevented. Wildfires can begin for various reasons, including droughts, naturally, or even can result from human causes. The Environmental Protection Agency classifies wildfires as natural disasters, but only 10 to 15% of wildfires occur on their own. Most of the time, wildfires are caused by human impacts or are a result of human causes. All wildfires require 3 conditions in order for the wildfire to burn. These conditions include fuel, oxygen, and a heat source. Firefighters call these 3 elements the fire triangle. Fuel is known as any material or substance that helps to spread the fire, like grass, trees, any brush, and even homes. Air, or oxygen, is what the fire needs to burn. A heat source is what ignites the fire. Examples of a heat source include lightning, campfires, cigarettes, and even the warm, hot sun. California is the most prone wildfire state in the United States, which lost 259,148 acres of land to 8,194 wildfires in 2019. Because California is so hot and dry, the Santa Ana winds help cause and spread all the wildfires within California because the Santa Ana winds can carry a spark for many, many miles. The Santa Ana winds are strong, dangerous winds that blow from the mountains to the coast of Southern California. These winds are so strong and powerful that they can break tree limbs or even raise dust clouds or cause a wildfire to occur in California. The Santa Ana winds can even become so strong that they reach up to hurricane gusts of 74 miles per hour. The winds are caused by a large pressure gradient that travels through the mountains and accelerates as they travel downhill, which allows the Santa Ana winds to perhaps end up being the result of a wildfire or cause the wildfire to spread even more than it already is, causing it to become uncontrollable. Wildfires occur naturally during dry weather or because of droughts. Vegetation that is usually green dries out, which causes the vegetation to become easily flammable. When lightning strikes or a volcano erupts, for instance, this is the main source of the igniting of the fire. Usually, when wildfires occur naturally, it's because of lightning striking. With the dry heat accompanied by strong winds, this helps to spread the fire quickly, making it uncontrollable fast. Wildfires are also caused by human impact. Humans are the main source of wildfires, starting being 85 to 90% responsible for causing wildfires. Humans can cause wildfires for various reasons, usually because they're not paying attention to what they're doing. Some of these causes include unattended campfires, burning debris, especially during a burn ban. A burn ban is a temporary ban on any burning during dry weather. When it's very dry and vegetation dries out, a burn ban is put in place to help prevent any unwanted fires or unwanted wildfires from occurring. Other causes of human impacts on wildfires include equipment use or any malfunctions to it, discarding any cigarettes without properly putting them out, as well as any intentional act of arson. Firefighters try to stop wildfires by not allowing the fire to have one of the 3 parts of the fire triangle: fuel, oxygen, or heat. One way to put out a wildfire is by dousing the fire with water or fire retardants. Fire retardants are substances that are used to slow or stop the fire and to reduce the intensity of the fire. It's usually a reddish-orange color and creates a chemical reaction that reduces the flammability or controls the spread of the wildfire. Firefighters also sometimes work in teams. These teams are called hotshots. Within these teams, they work to clear vegetation from the land that's around the fire in hopes to starve the fire out of fuel. By doing this, it causes what is known as a fire break. A fire break is a gap in vegetation or anything that might continue to add fuel to the fire, which acts as a barrier to slow or stop the spread of the wildfire. Another way firefighters try to stop or control a wildfire is through the use of controlled burning. Sometimes, firefighters create what's known as a backfire. A backfire is a fire set along the inner edge of the fire line to consume the fuel in the path of a wildfire and or change the direction of force of the fire's convection column. Firefighters do everything they can within their power to try to stop or to control the wildfire. Wildfires have many different results after they occur. They do not only impact humans, but they also impact the ecosystem around. When it comes to the impacts wildfires have on humans, it can be anywhere from their health to their home. Sometimes, due to a wildfire, people are displaced from their homes because they had to leave their home because it was within the path of the wildfire. Other times, they can't go back because their home is no longer there. The fire has entirely burned their house down, or their home is partially burned, or their house may contain too many chemicals from the fire, making it unsafe for them to return to for a very long time. Wildfires are also both beneficial and harmful to the environment around in various ways. When it comes to the health of humans, wildfires have a direct impact on people's health. Wildfires create air pollution, resulting in poorer air quality. Eye irritation or respiratory irritation are very common from the smoke of the wildfire. A reduction in lung function, bronchitis, or even asthma can be serious results of smoke from a wildfire. Pregnant women, children, and the elderly are very vulnerable to any health risks from the exposure of smoke from a wildfire. Wildfires can also be very harmful to the environment. When a wildfire breaks out and it's continuing to go on, which normally ends up happening, harmful pollutants are released into the atmosphere. Carbon monoxides, nitrogen oxides, and non-methane organic compounds are all released into the air. Wildfires also burn the current vegetation and may even cause the death of the animals that are living within the area the wildfire has burned. This can play a crucial role in the extinction of any plants or animals because, unfortunately, if a wildfire is traveling within the path of any endangered species, it could cause complete extinction of that species. Controlled burns are obviously intentional, but not all intentional fires are good. For agricultural purposes, when trying to clear the land, they do what's known as slash and burn agriculture. Slash and burn agriculture is where natural vegetation is cut down and burned as a method of clearing the land for cultivation. And then, when the plot becomes infertile, the farmer moves to a new fresh plot and does the same again. Although these may not lead to wildfires, they can get out of control and lead to the creation of wildfires. On the other hand, they can be a little beneficial because if a fire were to break out, having done this slash and burn agriculture, it would help to slow the spread of the wildfire. Of course, for the most part, slash and burn agriculture ruins the land because it's something that's done constantly. Once the farmer does it once, they move on to the next area of land and continue to do this, which results in ruining the nutrients in the land. Wildfires also have a major impact on the ecosystem and the land in which it impacted. It can be both beneficial and also harmful to the area around. Wildfires are beneficial when it comes to controlled burn. A controlled burn is a planned burn that's managed well and is very beneficial to forest management. Controlled burns are helpful because they can help control an out-of-control fire. Like stated earlier, to help stop a fire from spreading even further, the brush or vegetation around can be burned to reduce the spreading of the fire because the fuel to spread the fire is gone. Wildfires are also beneficial because they lead to the regrowth of the vegetation that is there or was previously there. It's much more common now that forest managers are trying to do these controlled burns more often to not only help be the result of slowing the spread of a wildfire if one were to break out, but they also do it for the regrowth of current vegetation. Once the vegetation is being regrown, it's not dead anymore and it prevents it from being able to burn more easily to spread a wildfire. By doing controlled burnings, it can also make room to attract wildlife to the area, including bison, birds, and prairie dogs. Wildfires are also beneficial because they can burn disease-ridden plants or harmful insects that are living within that ecosystem. Wildfires also thin out forest canopies, which helps to allow the sunlight to reach the forest floor, allowing for new growth of vegetation. Wildfires are such a prevalent issue in today's world, especially because they're happening more and more. Due to this, there has been an increase and creation of helpful tools and technology developed to determine the impact of smoke from wildfires. Air pollution sensors have been developed to evaluate the air pollution during an active fire. Lightweight sensors are placed within the location of the fire or around the fire to measure the air pollutants at different locations and altitudes. Models are also being created to measure the quantity of various impacts from wildfires and air pollutants. These models help to evaluate the smoke emissions relating to the air quality. These models are also used to measure the difference between smoke emissions on both planned and unplanned fires and how those smoke emissions have different impacts on air quality. It's very important people try to prevent wildfires, especially unplanned and uncontrolled wildfires, from occurring. One way to prevent wildfires is by knowing the local laws when it comes to open burning, like campfires. Keep all flammable objects away from any fire. If someone is burning, make sure to keep tools nearby that help put out the fire if one gets out of control. Do not leave a fire unattended. Always put out a fire, like a campfire, with water once the campfire is no longer occurring. Also, make sure to carefully dispose of any hot coals. Remember to remain smart when around a fire using flammable materials to help prevent any wildfires from breaking out. Wildfires are very common now more than ever. It's important people understand what forest fires can do and the impacts they may have. Not every single wildfire is completely harmful, but most are. Unfortunately, when people do not pay attention or are uncareful about what they're doing when around a fire when starting one, it can be the result of a wildfire. Wildfires can be both beneficial and harmful, so it's very important that citizens understand what occurs before, during, and after a forest fire, as well as how to prevent them from happening. With people being educated on all these aspects, this will help prevent and decrease the number of wildfires that are occurring. Of course, people cannot control a natural phenomenon and control when a forest fire naturally breaks out, but citizens can do their part and become educated on all of the impacts forest fires can have.